Will my family be mad? Is it my story? Am I allowed? Am I allowed? Am I allowed? This is a universal question for memoirists.
This is Daring to Tell, the podcast where writers read their true stories of personal daring, and we talk about writing and life. I am your host, Michelle Rado.
Nothing's gonna make me brave. Nothing's gonna make me brave. Nothing's gonna make me brave except doing what makes me scared.
Here's a little insider information about me. I am not daring. And so I marvel at myself frequently that I have named this podcast Daring to Tell because I am so not. Yet, I yearn to find the bravery that I see in every one of my writer guests. Part of not being brave includes the conundrum of promoting this podcast. Do I want you, your writer and reader friends and memoir lovers to find it and discover something meaningful in it? Oh yeah, I definitely do. But I also live in fear of that. Social media is just not my bag. So, how to get the word out? Well, last year, after getting an email from the Woodstock Bookfest, I saw a big, colorful button on their webpage, Sponsor. And I thought, go to a place where people might be interested in books and having panel discussions about memoir and wisdom and bravery and permission. I could do that. And it was fantastic. My husband Phil and I had been to Woodstock a few times before, and we've absolutely loved it. It is such a charmed place, tucked into woods and the Catskill Mountains, where there's great food and books and music and art. And the most charming little stream that runs behind the main drag of Tinker Street, it really is just a magical place. So I am going back this year as a sponsor again, this year for Sari Botton's panel called On Permission, Daring to Tell, which you may have heard. I had a conversation with her just this month. And I also thought it would be great to talk with the festival's Ball of Energy director, Martha Frankel, so you can hear for yourself the love that is underneath everything that is Woodstock Bookfest. It is just so good. And even if you can't go, this episode will give you lots of ideas for the next stack of books you may be looking for. So here we go. Woodstock Bookfest 2025 with Martha Frankel.
Thank you so much. When you say that Bookfest 2025, it's just astounding to me. We started this little thing in 2010, let's put on a play, and here I am. It's just astounding.
I was going to say, going into the history, I don't want to do that too much, but it is, it's a landmark. You go, I was looking back and I thought, was it 2010? It would look like that was when you had started it.
Yeah, 2010. I got together with some writers in Woodstock. They were together and pulled me in and said, we're going to do this little festival. Do you want to be part of it? And I said, sure. And then the next year, they said, well, you're a good organizer. You do it. So I reached out to Susan Orlean and Ruth Reichel, and they both said yes.
Wow.
And so that was kind of shocking.
Amazing.
I mean, two of my favorite writers, and they came and they hung out in Woodstock and they loved it. And it was just so heartening. And then I just sort of took the ball and ran with it. And, I'm fearless. I've been turned down by people, and I have also, wrote to Cheryl Strayed when Wild was wildly successful and said, what would we have to do to get you here? And she said, send me a plane ticket. And we did.
Yeah.
And, we've had Robert Thurman. I mean, we've had huge, huge writers. And also we've had writers who were just starting, who blossomed. We've been so lucky. I consider it luck, because most of life is luck. Mm-hmm. But we've just been so blessed to have writers who understood, we've had very little, I'm going to say almost none, like weird stuff. Like we haven't had
Mm.
writers freak out, or I don't know. I don't know what happens at like other
Yeah.
literary festivals, but we've been so lucky. Everybody's been just wonderful. I'm just blessed. That's all I can say.
I feel that so much. And last year being my first year coming to the festival
Yeah,
and
that was
coming
last year was fun.
as a sponsor has been like, oh my God, the best thing ever. Cause I feel so special.
Good, good, good. Yeah, yeah. We treat our authors like rock stars. We treat our
Yes.
sponsors like
Which
gods.
they authors, rock stars,
Yep,
100%.
100%.
Sponsors, gods, sure, I'll take it. I don't know.
Yeah. I have no corporate sponsorship. I don't even know how to go about that. The book industry
Right.
is it's such a dinosaur. And so I just have to raise money through local people and
Mhm.
local businesses. And everybody's just so excited about it. When we started the festival, the first festival, the one with Ruth Reichel and Susan Orlean, was a Valentine's weekend,
Oh.
but the weather was so iffy. So we decided to
Mhm.
push it back. So we do it like the last week of March or the first week in April. This year it's April 3rd to the 6th. And it's the bleakest time here. Everything
Yeah.
looks terrible.
Yeah.
Town has been dead for a while. So the Bookfest brings all these people in who are
Yeah.
just in such a good mood, and they
Yeah.
spend money and they eat out and they stay in hotels, and it feels like spring. So it's always iffy, but I feel like very excited about this year. I feel like, every year I feel like things are getting better and better, but this year seemed to be
Yeah.
it's like a high watermark. I'm very
Oh,
happy.
I am very excited about it too. And the point that you were saying about spring too is like you're planning for it and you're like, it's going to be in the beginning of April. And it does. It's such a hopeful time.
Exactly.
I mean, even now it's lighter,
Yeah, very excited. I put the panels together a little differently this year. I don't choose the
How do
writers.
you do? Yeah, this was going to
Yeah,
be like, how do you get these people?
I choose the moderators.
Oh,
And
okay.
and I say to them, let's talk about what would be good. So I'm going to give you for instance. I know Sari Botten is doing your podcast. She's been with me for a long time. She's doing a panel on permission, dare to write. Uh, it's about who owns their story. And this is a universal question for memoirists. Will my family be mad? Is it my story? Am I allowed? Am I allowed? Am I allowed?
Mm-hmm.
Sari's going to really tackle that. Alyssa Altman's on that panel. She has a book out called On Permission. She's a memoirist who's written 3 amazing books before.
Mm-hmm.
But I approached Sari and said, should we do something on permission? And she was like, yes. She was so excited. And she grabbed Jonathan Lerner, and Hae-Sun Song is on the On Permission panel too. So, that panel is going to just be great because we are not a book fest for writers per se, but writers are the ones who are most
Mm-hmm.
interested in this stuff. I say we're a book fest for readers.
Yeah.
Then I approached Holly Warren, who's a rock writer. She wrote the book on Janis Joplin and Big Star, and she's had big success with this Dolly Parton style book that was huge.
Oh, okay.
And so I said, do you want to do the book fest? She's done it before, but she's never moderated. And she was like, yes, let's get Moon Zappa, who I interviewed last summer, who is just incredible.
Tell me about her a little bit,
Oh my
actually. I'm
God.
curious.
Her book is fantastic. It's just fantastic. It's called Earth to Moon. And it's about what it was like growing up with Frank Zappa. And
Mm-hmm.
her parents were the most selfish doesn't even begin to describe.
Oh.
I mean, that those kids grew up at all is a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Moon is fantastic. She's funny and warm and gracious. We had
Mm-hmm.
so much fun when she was here. And so she's coming back to do this panel with a woman named Laurie Tucker Sullivan, who wrote a book about rock widows.
Oh, interesting.
One of whom is Sandy Helm, whose husband Levon Helm was the drummer in the band. And so
Yeah.
Sandy will be there as well. But
Wow.
it's going to be great. And then Gail Straub always does a panel about spirituality, and Gail can take care of herself. So she just sort of tells me what she wants to do. And she's doing a panel this year. It's called Writers and Wisdom Keepers, Illuminating a Path During Dark Times.
I loved that title, by the way.
Isn't it
I
great?
was like, yeah.
And so it's our own Abby Thomas who started this festival with me, and Bev D'Onofrio and Janice Adams. And they're going to be talking about how to shine light right now, which is, what we all need.
What we
I'm
need.
not going to lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, I don't know how to say this. If Kamala had won, I would have done the entire festival would have been women. That was my feeling.
Yeah.
When she didn't, I took a little bit of a step back. It's mostly women, but a man named Timothy Liu is moderating a panel on love and heartbreak with Ada Calhoun and Lisa Phillips, and that's going to be fantastic. Melissa Holbrook. Melissa's local, and she's written some amazing books about place, about how, our place is so important to who we are and how we think.
Yeah.
And she's a motorcyclist, which I love.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so she wrote a book called The Perfect Vehicle, and The Place You Love Is Gone, Progress Hits Home. Her essays have been everywhere. She has two men on her panel who have written books about place, about how important place is. Alex Hannaford has a book about Austin, and Ben Ratliff has a book about, it's called Run the Song, writing about running, about listening. It's very good.
Those are like three of my favorite things. Oh my God. Yeah. Plus writing about place is
it's fantastic, right?
It's such an important part of our stories when we are trying to tell them.
I know. And then I reached out to Marianne Schnall, who lives locally. I have to say this because I was once introduced at a panel and they said, Martha Frankel is a local writer. And I felt like it was demeaning. So I don't want to say these are local writers. They're world-class writers, but the Hudson Valley is rich.
Oh my God. I was going to say fertile soil. Absolutely.
Rich in creative people. Yeah. And so Marianne is local and she's done the festival before. And I approached her and said, we need to talk about post-Roe America.
Yeah.
And she jumped in. I mean, she's incredible, and said, let's do a panel on women's rights in post-Roe America. And we got Jemiah Wilson, Jessica Valenti, and Clara Bingham, like heavyweights in their fields to talk about this. I think this is going to be an explosive panel. I'm really excited for them. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then we're always looking for a keynote. And so I keep a list of people I would love to have at the festival. And this summer I read and then listened to Griffin Dunn's book about his family called Friday Afternoon Club. His sister was murdered. His dad was the writer Dominic Dunn. His aunt is Joan Didion. His uncle is John Dunn. I mean, he comes from this wildly creative but incredibly odd family. And the book is both hysterical, I mean, laugh out loud funny, and brutally, brutally painful. And so we have a mutual friend. And I said to her, I'm not asking you to get involved. I'm just saying, can you get me an email for Griffin?
Right.
And she said, well, write it to me. So I wrote her an email and told her why I thought he would be the perfect keynote. And 20 minutes later, I get an email from Griffin. He says, hey, Lizzie sent your thing. It sounds great. Tell me the specifics. I was like, oh my God.
All right.
And so I'm doing the interview. I haven't done this in a long time. I'm an interviewer. That's how I started my career. I did celebrity interviews for many, many years, and I'm comfortable with it. But I am so excited to be doing this interview because I loved Griffin when he was in American Werewolf in London and After Hours. I loved that part of his life. Then he went on to direct Practical Magic and other movies that I loved. And then he wrote this book that is just incredible. And so it's just been so easy and fun with him. He's like, yeah, when's the party? Give me the address. I'll be there. I said, do you need a hotel? Do you need, he said, no, I'm good. Whatever. That's a joy.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, this is one of the things that I feel, and I've been there 1 year, that I felt about this book festival. It's a coming together of the right people in the right place at the right time. And that, I don't mean to sound all woo-woo by like the right.
No, I gotta say, I agree. Like, it's just so he's going to be there on Saturday night with me.
Yeah.
And then one of my best friends is the writer Ann Hood. She's best known for Somewhere Off the Coast of Maine and a book about grief called Comfort. And I did a review for the Times of London for a book called The One That Got Away, and it was about breaking up with a girlfriend. It was about losing a friendship, which is something I'm very interested in. I've always
Yeah.
been interested in how heartbreaking that is for women.
Yeah.
Maybe for men, but I don't know.
Right.
But for women, like losing a friend can be like losing a partner.
Yeah.
And so I had done this piece, and Anne had a piece in the book that was the book as far as I was concerned. So then she had a new book coming out, and I found her email. It was when like Facebook first started, and it was all new. And I emailed her and I said, "What would I have to do to get you to the Woodstock Bookfest?" And she said, "Ask." And so she came. She's like, Anne walks into a room and the room lights up. She's just fantastic. She's warm and funny and maintains like 1,000 different thoughts. And she did an anthology about knitting, and I did a piece in it. And we've been friends for a long time. I don't know how many years ago we were at the Miami Book Fair, and a guy walked into the room, and I looked at Anne and I started laughing. And she said, "No, no, no." And she wound up marrying him, Michael Ruhlman. He's a cookbook author and anyway, they are.
How did that happen? That's amazing.
This is how it happened. 20 years before, 30 years before, he met her at Breadloaf. She was on a porch talking to some people. He was walking by. Somebody said, "Hey, Anne, do you know Michael Ruhlman?" And she looked down and said, "No." And he said, "I'm going to marry you someday." And he kept walking.
Wow.
And it took them decades to come together. They are the best couple. So Anne just edited a book about the Gilmore Girls, the TV show.
Okay.
And Ruhlman has a piece in it about when he met Anne. She had a teenage daughter, young teen daughter. And, it's hard, a new man in the house. And the way they connected was through the Gilmore Girls, because one of his friends is one of the stars. It's an amazing piece. And Anne's piece is great. So in Kicking Off Sunday was something called Fun with the Gilmore Girls. It's going to be trivia and I don't know whatever they want. Because those two are just like, those two can make anything fun.
Right.
Then the panel that you're sponsoring on Permission Dare to Tell. And then we always close with the memoir panel.
Yeah.
I am just so over the moon this year. Sophie Strand lives in Woodstock, and she's written a few books. She was one of our keynotes last year, but she has a new book out, a memoir called The Body is a Doorway, that is astounding. Sophie was 14 when I met her. My office used to be next to the high school, and they called and said, "Would you mentor somebody?" And I thought, great, it would be great to get somebody in here to organize this mess of a life I have. And Sophie came, and we spent like an afternoon together. And then I said, "Hey, my writing class is coming tomorrow. You want to come?" And because she's told me she was a writer. And she came in and read her piece. And I was like, "Oh, okay. You don't have to organize my books.
Wow.
I need to work with you." She's one of the most incredible writers, and she's had an illness that it just keeps bowling her over, and she gets up and does more incredible work. So This book is something else. And then Oliver Radcliffe is on this panel. He's a transgender writer. His book is called Frighten the Horses. It's fantastic. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun reading it. And so we've been doing this series of photos for the emails, and it's my husband often in bed with a friend of mine reading a book, but like their faces are sort of covered.
Oh,
I
saw it. Yeah,
you could tell. You could tell it's not me. Like my friends know it's not me. So I wrote to Oliver last week and I said, "Oh my God, I am freaking out about your book. I love it so much." And he goes, "Yeah, I'll know you like it when you take a picture of your husband in bed with it." So a friend of mine was here for dinner. I was like, "Get in bed. You got to read Oliver's book." So he was thrilled. And a woman named Jennifer Cabot, who also lives locally, wrote 2 memoirs, The Eighth Moon and Night Shining. Her book is fantastic too. Guy Trebay may come to that panel where he's unclear. He hates to travel. He's a New York Times writer, very well known. He writes about culture, high and low. He writes for the New Yorker and The Voice and Interview. So I read his book and loved it and just wrote and said, "You want to come to the festival?" And he said, "Oh, I hate the schlep." And I was like, "Yeah, I understand." He goes, "But I might." So Guy Trebay may be there. His book is called Do Something. Yeah. And then every night we have a party. And so the first night of the festival before Holly's panel about music, we're having a pizza party at Catskill Mountain Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Just fun. Like, I love when the writers meet each other. You always hear the same thing. Oh my God, I love your work. Oh, it's you. Like, it's
Yeah.
always really sweet. And then the next night, Saturday night, we're having a party at Oriole 9. It's like cocktails and appetizers and really laid back before the Griffin Dunn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at my favorite part of the festival, which is gathering stuff for the goodie bags.
Oh, that's right. I was actually going to ask you about that because I have a few things that should go into them.
You're going to send them, right?
Yes, I have to do that right away.
We just painted the guest room here, and Steve said, "Do you want to put everything back?" And I said, "No. I want to leave the bed with just a sheet on it so I can do the goodie bags because it's truly my favorite part of the festival."
Really?
Yeah, people are really generous and they give me stuff and gift certificates and the writers love it. And it's nice figuring out like who's local, where may they have never eaten, what kind of candle would they like, what kind of perfume. So that's where we're at.
And so those are goodie bags for all the
authors
right.
and the full festival people.
Right.
Because people buy full festival passes.
Right. So tell us about that.
A full festival pass gets you into everything. I didn't talk about our kickoff, which is always the night, the Thursday night before.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Is a story slam because I'm spaced out.
We'll go backwards. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
Juggling like crazy here. But on April 3rd, we're doing our story slam. It is always a crazy, crazy event. And this year we're doing it at the Woodstock Playhouse, the biggest venue we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting, nerve-wracking. It's 20 storytellers. They have to tell a story in under 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The story must include the line, "I knew I had to do good."
Mm-hmm.
There's a gong. There are prizes. You know, the audience very involved. There's judges. We're kicking off with that. And an artist in Woodstock, Kate McLaughlin, did a talk at the high school. She was the commencement speaker maybe 15 years ago. Did this unbelievable thing about how she was sort of a screw up in high school and went on to huge success, and that it's all in the telling. It's all in who you become. And for years I said, Kate, you have to put this book together. You have to. It's just what everybody needs to hear. And she finally did it this year. It's called Do Good.
Oh.
And that's why we wanted that in the title of the Story Slam, because we're going to give away her little book to all the Story Slam participants. And I feel like right now in the world, that doing good is everything. Yeah. That I have to remember to just turn around to the person behind me and say, "Hey, you okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?" And so that thing, do good, is our tagline this year. It's what we hope will come out of everything. It's just been a very exciting year for the Bookfest. We started something called Bookfest to Go online workshops, which are with world-class writers about the craziest things. Susan Brown, who's a good friend, teaches something called The Secret Handshakes of the Masters. Susan was the one who got me to write my memoir. She's fantastic. Oh. Chris Wells is doing funny, sad, and surprising storytelling. Nan Tepper, who does my website and branding, is doing something about Substack, teaching people how to put their Substacks in a way that's enticing. Andy Ross is doing something called attention-grabbing queries and proposals. This is a really important thing. People, they don't know how to query a magazine or an agent or a publisher, and he will teach you how. It's very important.
Jennifer, and so these are, sorry, you go,
these
but
are
these are all
online.
like online classes.
Online classes.
Yeah.
And they sort of roll over. I think Susan's class starts in March. Jennifer Clement is teaching poetry that pierces hearts. Laura Davis is writing about what you can't remember. One of my favorite things.
She's been on this podcast before.
She has?
She was great. Yep.
Yeah. So she's part of it. We always, people are always like, "Oh, I want to take a class. So Nan and Susan got this together. It's through the Bookfest. It's just been amazing. And we're doing some raffles. We just are selling tickets to this Elliot Landy photo of Dylan, iconic photo.
Yeah.
That's going to sell out today. Elliot just called. He's giving me another photo to auction off. Kate McLaughlin is going to give us a monoprint that we're going to auction off for a local charity. All the money will go to them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much going on. It's just an incredibly exciting, I don't know. I'm just like so jazzed for it. I feel like this year I got a lot of the hiccups out of the way. The Golden Notebook, my partners, they have a great bookstore.
Yeah.
They've been so helpful figuring out who would be good on that panel.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of voice do we want to have? And I feel like some of it's political. The women's rights post Roe is going to be a
Right.
political panel.
Yeah.
And even Sari's panel that you're sponsoring
Mm-hmm.
on Permission Dare to Tell, writers need to understand that we own our own stories. Annie
Yeah.
Lamott said it perfectly.
Right.
If they wanted you to write nice things about them, they should have been nicer.
Exactly. I know. I love
So,
that a lot.
I know. And I feel like that's what a lot of this is about. But Alyssa Altman has written books, and part of her story is that her family got very upset with something. Somebody in her family got very upset with something she wrote and, sort of shunned her.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's her story.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It is. My mother always said it's all in the telling.
Yes.
Meaning, when my mother turned 49, her mother got hit by a truck and killed. Her father had a heart attack and
my
died.
God.
Her brother had a heart attack and died. And my father got cancer and died. So it happened
Wow.
within 6 months. And people would
Oh my
say,
God.
oh my God, that's so terrible. And she'd say, well, it's all in the telling. Because
Mm-hmm.
she didn't feel that way. She felt like
Yeah.
she'd had a really blessed, beautiful life
Mm-hmm.
with her family, and
Right.
that, sadly they all died. But she still had me and my sister and her sisters and her friends. So I feel like that
Yeah.
panel, the On Permission panel, is just going to be filled with people who need to know what they're allowed to say.
Yeah. And can I just say also
Please.
that is one of the things I love about memoir. It is the chance to step into someone else's skin and see a perspective that you might not have ever even imagined.
Right.
And that to me is one of the most powerful things any of us can do as a human, as human beings, is like, how can I understand you and what you've done? And I want to hear what you have to say about that. And memoir seems to be, I know it's not just memoir, but memoir seems to be a strong thread in what.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a memoirist. I love memoir. I don't know if there's any fiction this year. I'm not kidding. We tend towards nonfiction.
Right.
And that's what I tend to read.
Yeah.
Is memoir and nonfiction. And so when I find a book, like I loved Miranda July's All Fours this year. I just loved that book. And told a lot of my friends about it, a lot of my friends who are in their 50s. And it struck such a chord with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really. And it was so nice to read a piece of fiction that had nothing to do with me. Like it was fascinating. I love that book. And
yeah.
But it's rare. Like I say, one of every 5 books I read is fiction. The other 4 are nonfiction.
Yeah. And I feel similarly. Like, I mean, most of what I read is memoir, first of all, because I'm always looking for something new for this podcast. But I just find myself saying, like, I want the story to be true,
Yeah, exactly. One of the first interviews I ever did was with T. Karagasan Boyle.
Oh, yeah.
And who's truly one of the greatest novelists of our time.
Yeah.
He had written World's End. And that book bowled me over, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was so, and it took place in the 1600s and the 1960s.
Okay.
And I said to him, how much of this book is true? And he was like, well, isn't everything?
Right.
And
yeah,
oh my God, he knows how to weave a story like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And that was really fun to watch,
He's an author I actually have read. I feel like so woefully underread. I
feel
so
woefully underread.
I mean, the more you read, the more you realize what you haven't read.
Exactly. And I accumulated a lot of books. I used to have a really big office in my town. It was half as big as my house. My house isn't big, but my office was. And I would just there were piles and piles and piles of books. I was a book reviewer. I got hundreds of books a year.
Yeah.
And then I decided to get rid of the office, and I had to make that decision.
Uh-oh.
Am I keeping them or getting rid of them?
Oh.
And I think that's, it's a piece, man. It's a whole book of.
I was going to say.
I got rid of a lot. A lot.
Did you? Wow.
Yes, I did, because I also realized I don't have time to like reread.
Yeah.
I have to go forward. I want to read new things, but I
Yeah.
still go back. Like I just read The Age of Grief again, Jane Smiley's collection of stories, because I love Jane's work. And somebody said something and I was like, oh, I got to read The Age of Grief again. And I sometimes go back to Susan Orlean if I'm looking for inspiration for a piece. But I feel like, I thought I was going to read the classics at some point. When's that going to happen?
Me too. There is a great podcast. Now that you say it, I'm not going to remember the name of it. I'll try and remember it to say it at the end after I'm done talking with you. But it's all about the classics. And my husband stumbled across it. And so he has listened to all those and decided to go back and simultaneously, read them all. So I've started Moby Dick twice. Have I gotten... I don't think I've gotten to the boat, honestly. I'm trying. So many great books.
So that was how I had to really, because I couldn't bring it. Either I had to put a new wing on my house to bring the books in. I'm not kidding. My house is 1,400 square feet. My office was 650. That's half as big. So I was like, what's going to happen here? And just yesterday, I found, this huge pile of maybe 40 books. I'm like, what's going on here? It's wonderful because people know I have books. So I'll just put it on Facebook that I'm getting rid of books and people come and take a box of books from me. That's great.
Wow.
Also, I am the person who is filling all those little libraries. I fill them. I drive around with boxes of books and I move over the Bhagavad Gita because they're stuffed full of that. And I put new nonfiction in.
That's great. And I work, I use in quotes, I'm a volunteer at a used bookstore. Our bookstore library, the library bookstore in our town. And so honestly, I probably bring more home than I bring in, but I know, I can just return them there when I'm done reading them. It's like a slow.
I give 2 boxes of books every year to my local library. Then they have a book sale. How many of my own books have I bought back? I'm like, oh, I love this book. And then I get it home and I see that it's mine. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, oh my God. I gave it away and then I paid $6 to bring it home.
We have bought the same book more than once.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite a few times. I think that was our introduction, honestly, to Woodstock Bookfest was the year before. Oh, so 2 years ago, or maybe it was pre-pandemic. Anyways, we went to Woodstock on the weekend that was that library book sale, and we stood in this giant long line to go in and look through all the books. And it was also record store weekend and we realized we had just missed the book fest. We went to Golden Notebook, which I was like, oh my God, this is one of the best bookstores ever.
It is such a great bookstore. It's
good.
So great. And in this small little town. Well, in 2011, our bookstore it was unclear. The woman and the man who owned it wanted to sell it and it was talking of it closing. And so we were like, we got to do something so that the bookstore will stay in business. Then this woman, Jackie Callahan, bought it and her partner, James Conrad, they own it now and it's thriving. But there was a moment. And so we were like, we got to do something to save the bookstore. Now I feel like the bookstore saves us. But there was that other moment.
What a great, again, Woodstock, I will just say it over and over again, is such a special place. I don't know what it is.
And that's so nice to
hear. But you just show up there and you go, wow. It's like the vibes. I'm not kidding. Like I am so into the physics of why it's a special place. And I feel like we're coming from a special place. I love Maine. Similarly, it feels outsized for the small place that it is in creativity and so much writing, so much artistic stuff, a great writing community. And when I say these things, it's like I don't mean to diss other places, but there are places.
No, there are places that are special.
And Woodstock is, man.
It really is. And so I've been blessed. I sort of came here on a lark and I was like, I went back. I lived in Miami. I got married for a minute. We came up here on our honeymoon. We went back to Miami and I thought, I have to move back there and ditch him. Like those are the two things that I thought. And it took me a year and a half, but I did those
Yeah.
two things and came back
Wow.
because this place called to me, to
Yeah.
my very soul.
Yep.
And it still does. It still
Yeah.
does. There's a point when you're driving up from the city and you just come up this little rise and the mountains are in front of you. And it's just a thrill every
Yeah.
single time I do it. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I feel like we could keep talking about this all day, but people need to go get their tickets right now, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So,
tickets are online at woodstockbookfest.com. You could buy a ticket to an individual event or a full festival pass or a story slam, which is going to be wild. I can't really explain what it's like. You know, when we
I
first did it,
know.
I was like, oh, I'm doing this on a Thursday. That doesn't make sense. And whenever we do it, it's just mobbed. It's so great. So
Yeah.
I hope to see a lot of people there, and I can't wait to see you. You're coming down for the whole weekend, right?
We are coming on Friday. I don't know why. So
Well,
we won't be there for Story Slam, but we will be there for Friday through the whole festival, and
good.
I can't wait for all of these things. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this, Martha, and thank you so much.
We're thrilled for you. Thank you for all your support.
How to do good? Such a daunting and simple directive. After this conversation with Martha, it hit me. Participate in something bigger than yourself that speaks to your soul. For me, that's books. One at a time, speaking to you from the pages of another person's soul. I hope this is my little piece of doing good as a sponsor for this year's Woodstock Bookfest. WoodstockBookfest.com is the place to go to read all the details about the schedule. Again, it is happening on April 3rd through 6th. Come for all of it, some of it, take an online class, but come for a little groove on the vibes that emanate from this very special place. Thank you, Martha Frankel, for such a fun conversation and for all the good you do in pulling this festival together. Thanks to my husband, Phil Rado, for all the vibes that come out of his soul through his music. And thank you for making it to the end of this episode and for daring to listen. I hope to catch you at the Woodstock Bookfest.
And nothing's gonna break my fall. There's nothing in the protocol. It's like swimming up waterfall or taking away the ground. Taking away the ground. It's like taking away the ground.